Welcome back, Main Stage Arena, the Rico Arena. We're here for Game 5 of our Best of 5. I am so excited to be all the way into our last game. I'm Stress, alongside me is Xscandal. We've been bringing you all of the action here from I-51. Again, we're already into the picks and bans phase. Unicorns of Love versus Rain Gaming, and 2 games apiece here. Let's get the picks and bans on the screen.
Really close. We've seen 2 great games from Unicorns of Love to bring it all the way back to 2-2. Rain taking that second game of the day. Obviously, Rain have a game in hand from winning from the winner's bracket. Right now, we've seen Yorick, LeBlanc, and Kha'Zix coming out. That's a similar set of bans we've seen from Rain all tournament. Looks like Jax is being picked up on the side of Unicorns of Love, as well as that Thresh. I haven't seen anything but Thresh played by Hylisang recently.
Yeah, and you know what? We gave him a lot of stick this weekend for, Thresh wasn't quite up to it. We were talking about it earlier, actually, and I was like, come on, show me that Thresh that you showed us at the Face It Challenger Invitational, where it was just on point every single game. And this time he started to bring it out for the finals. Yeah, I kind of feel like it was the old bait and switch.
Bait and switch, maybe just not quite performing to the best of his ability. Now he's in the mindset of the finals, really taking it to the next level with that Thresh play. And some of the flash hooks he's thrown out have been absolutely on point.
Yeah, definitely. And it's kind of a turnaround here for Unicorns of Love for them to pick Jax, as Jax has been a champion they've tried to avoid all weekend, but it looks like Rain are really just going to go with what's worked for them already with that Irelia, Orianna Nocturne.
Very good. That's Nutri going back to a champion he feels comfortable on. Warrior picking up the Irelia again. He was big on that game. I feel like Irelia and Jax is just going to be the 2 contested picks now for these top lane between these guys. Just switched roles over again. Is that a Karthus?
It could be a Karthus. We'll wait until it's locked in to actually decide on it, but it could very well be a Karthus. And I don't think it'll be a Karthus and an Alistair, unless they want to go back to old, Season 1, Moscow 5.
Roaming
Alistair strats. Yeah, exactly. But Zodiaz, okay, he's locked it in. I don't feel like Master Sheepy's Xin Zhao has been as good as some of his other champions.
I do feel like he's been very much more influential on some of his other champions that he's played this tournament. Even when he played Lee Sin, he played really well. It's just, I don't know. I feel like his team did well last game, and therefore it made it look like he did well. So, I mean, I've got to give it to him. Master Chief is an absolutely brilliant jungler, but I just think he has better champions than Xin Zhao. So, again, it looks like Vardex is going to pick up the Lucian. Jinx was available.
Yeah, Jinx was available, but opting for that, maybe more consistent, some would say, in lane. A little bit
earlier on, better on.
Yeah. Easier to play in the middle lane. That's an Annie picked up, and Annie Caitlyn is a lane that we saw so much between October and January. It was just always Annie Caitlyn.
Interestingly enough, this is the first game that Morgana has been available for support, and she wasn't picked up against the Thresh, unless Rain weren't aware of it. But then, maybe they've got a different idea in mind, sort of going for this AoE team comp, as is what it seems to be going for now. The Shockwave into Tibbers sounds like it's going to make a bit of a brutal mid-game team fight.
Yeah, that's a pretty tough thing to fight against. But, I haven't seen Annie in a little while. It dropped off somewhat.
Well, she had her base ratios nerfed, so all of her base ability power was nerfed into the ground, and she just had her ability power ratios buffed. So while you kind of saw a lot of Annie mid lane come back into the fray and high-level challenger play, hasn't been that successful though. They were just testing out, I believe. But I haven't seen Annie support for a very long time. Certainly not as powerful as she used to be.
Yeah, they just kind of took the edge off that early game trading damages, and especially after the nerfs of reducing the stun as well. Annie used to be really powerful looking back at it. And we've got the hover over Soraka, and speaking of really powerful, this is a champion that... So I was going down this route either way, as one of the proponents of both champions actually played yesterday in the LCS 5th, 6th place matchup. Skara from Dignitas in North America went back and played Karthus again, and not a lot of people have been playing Karthus recently. He's always been kind of consistent with that late game hyper carry, but never really has just found his footing in the current meta of, you've had a lot of Lulu, you've had a lot of LeBlanc.
The thing is, he doesn't really do his role early game.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a very immobile, medium range caster, gets a lot of AP out if he manages to isolate people with his later waste. But other than that, there's a lot of champions that do his job better, but not many champions that do his job better into the late game. Well, a lot of people will play that so-called suicide Karthus, where you'll flash in, you'll stick on your Defile and just hope you manage to get as many kills as you can. As soon as you die, hit your ultimate.
I think, wasn't it back when Hotshot used to play top lane, he'd play like Karthus top lane, and the whole thing for CLG was just that Hotshot is just going to die anyway, so let's just put him on a champion that just goes straight in and just dies and does something afterwards. But I mean, fighting against a Jax and a Karthus, that's a deadly late game combination.
Yeah, so they really don't want to push it to the late game, and that's how it's been playing into Unicorns' love favor right now. They haven't got that late game AD carry, so Vardags isn't going to be on his Jinx. Lucian is okay in the late game, but the way you got to put it this, a lot of AD champions are either separated into auto attack based or spellcaster based. Spellcaster based sort of tend to fall off because they rely on getting their spells hitting. Lucian is one of those spellcaster based AD carries, as opposed to Caitlyn, who is very much an auto attack based champion. So I think into the late game, especially if Slight manages to position himself well, he'll have the advantage.
I'm just kind of thinking that how almost obscure this picks and bans phase has worked out for Rain. They went with 3 picks that have solidly worked for them given the circumstances. That Orianna and Nocturne's worked out well for them this weekend. The Irelia against the Jax worked out very well for them in game number 3. And then they're going all the way back to Annie in the support role. I mean, I know they're onto something a little bit different here now that Leona is banned away from Blackjack in that support role, and Thresh has been picked up. But as you said, Morgana was available, and typically, I mean, it's quite a telling thing that Unicorns of Love in every single game that I've seen apart from this game have banned Morgana.
Yeah, maybe they were trying to bait them into the Morgana pick, because you can shred down Black Shield fairly quickly with the Karthus. So again, maybe they're leaving it up for a reason, and Rain weren't going to fall into that trap. But I just think Morgana is infinitely more useful at the moment than Annie. She has the long-range snare, which goes up to 3 seconds at its maximum level. She has her ultimate. She can rush that Zhonya's, especially as the support's gold flow is exponentially increased now. And I don't know, I don't feel Annie is as useful, although she does have that 5-man stun she can potentially get off with a Shockwave Tivers combo.
I'm wondering how they're going to plan on surviving through a lot of the damage in the late game or mid-late game here from this Karthus Jax. There's a lot of damage in that duo, and especially when you start factoring in Requiem and prolonged periods in Defile. Just the fact that Rain are running Nocturne, who isn't like a full tank jungler. You wouldn't expect a full tank jungler. He's a Feral Flare jungler who has a lot more damage, less tank focus, so he already can't absorb so much damage. And Irelia, once you've got Trinity Force, then starts getting that tanky nature, but she's, again, not a full damage soak. She relies on stealing a lot of it back and just fighting around.
But you have to see the same kind of thing applies to Unicorns of Love. Xin Zhao is not a full damage tank. He's not going to go Ancient Golem. He's probably going to go for that Feral Flare also. And Jax is in exactly the same boat as Irelia. He is tankier at level 6 when he does use his ultimate, but he needs to get his 2 core items. And actually Irelia is in the boat that she can finish Trinity Force and then build tank. Jax really has to go for both Blade of the Ruin King and Trinity Force before he can start to build tanky. I do think Nocturne does get that slightly better tank if he starts to go towards the Randuins after the Feral Flare. So it'll be interesting to see how this works out.
We saw Nutri, I don't expect him to do this again, but we saw Nutri build the Yomu's Ghost Blade, if you remember, on Friday back in the group stages. I have a feeling that was to do a little bit more with the level of competition back in the group stages. I believe he was facing an unseeded team back then.
I think so, and he kind of went sort of paranoia into Yomu's Ghost Blade, chase down anyone that comes near me. It was kind of interesting. Didn't die very often as well because he was just so far ahead. I don't think he'll be doing the same thing coming into this game. So we've got an exhaust on the side of both teams. So actually Blackjack not opting to go for a double heal in that bot lane. The heal actually going over to the side of Orianna. So they still have the double heal in the comp, but they've got the Ignite down on their Thresh. So Yero was talking to you about this. He actually likes to take Ignite in the bot lane because it feels like he can win the lane with it. If you exhaust, you survive the lane.
Yeah, I feel like, and especially talking about that discussion, it's down to a lot of how the player wants to play the lane. A very aggressive support might favor Ignite, even though Exhaust is, in some people's minds significantly better now that they've had that extra damage reduction. And of course, talking about the Exhaust on Karthus, that's always been like a great thing to take on Karthus because you don't really need Ignite on Karthus as such. Teleport is an option if you're maybe Charu and, a couple of...
Charu or Peke or something like that.
Exactly, one of those mid laners that loves to just take teleport, but Exhaust is going to keep somebody in Defile, so it's a good thing to pick up.
It's actually had its movement speed altered ever so slightly, so it's lower, because they've obviously move the power of exhaust
Yeah,
on
then
the
it'd
damage
be
reduction.
far too powerful.
Yeah, it'd be fair. I mean, that's how exhaust is developed over the years. They went from having it too much damage reduction, then too much slow reduction, and now back to too much damage reduction. But it may be in a fairly stable place right now. So at level 1, we've just seen Unicorns of Love stack up in that top lane tri-brush. And actually, this is the first game that we haven't seen Rain go aggressive at level 1.
It is.
A little bit too much on the line to give away 2 free kills again.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I really think that they would kick themselves if they were to give away a couple of kills early on here. And this would have been pretty much a similar setup to the third game, where we can see Unicorns of Love were anticipating that invade in the top side. And because Unicorns of Love haven't gone aggressive yet, they haven't spotted out this lane swap attempt, but the rest of Unicorns are all kind of grouped in this top lane. They have a lot still to decide here, and actually Rain are pushing out quite far. So
this is very smart from Unicorns of Love. They're going to take away the blue buff from Nocturne, and with the lane swap being used by Rain already, it means that Nutri is going to have less control over invading the blue buff of Xin. This late invade does mean that unless we have Vivisachi teleporting down to the bot lane, we're going to have 3 members in the top lane, and they're going to go for a very, very quick push. But I think they're very, very akin to knowing how Rain plays this game, because every game Rain is lane swap, they're just sat in that top lane brush waiting for a pick.
You could see that Digger was kind of aware of what was possibly happening, used the ball over the blue buff wall just at the right time to see the invade happening, and we're going to see the invade out of Nutri to kind of answer that.
Yeah, so the lane swap was reciprocated by Unicorns of Love, so it does mean Nutri will get away with getting this blue buff. Going to take it away fairly easily, going to hit level 2, as Xin Zhao does just move towards his own red buff. So we're going to see just a reverse matchup. There's Counter-Strike actually avoided by Warrior in the bot lane. I like that, using the stun at the last moment there. So we're going to see no real intense action coming down in this early game. Very, very close.
I was going to say, they're just about to hit level 2 at the same time. Just that difference in experience, a little bit from either side there. But they both hit level 2, not going to be too explosive early on. And this is quite a slow start here. We've got a kind of a standard meta, but flipped upside down. Warrior takes a lot of damage. Yeah. But again, no ignite in lane means no early kills like that from Ajax.
There is a ward down for Rain right now, so Master of Sheepy will get spotted out if he does try to go through that area. He does, I think he realizes as Rain are playing slightly defensive, so he's just going to back off, try and look for his farming positions elsewhere. Jax is in a position with no ward though. Vivisachi going to go put that trinket ward down, but he is going to get caught out by Nutri. The Dustbringer does not hit. He does have flash available. The counter-strike is there. He does manage to leap strike away Nutri using the shield just in case he was going to get locked up there. And actually nothing burned for Vivisachi.
Yeah, Vivisachi just got out of that one pretty handily. He didn't get attacked by that Dustbringer. Flash in the top lane into Flay.
The top lane into the Flay. Slight is going to get pulled out by the Death Sentence. Exhaust comes down into Vardags. Blackjack uses the heal as well as Slight even using the heal. Looks like Vardags was pushed a little bit far out. Blackjack trying to get the damage down. Has to be really careful of getting flayed. He has to use the flash to get away. Hylasang not getting focused here. The flash coming out and first blood going over to Hylasang, but look how low Vardags is.
They're very low, but don't ever discount a 2v1 when the 2 are low, because he can still turn that around. Mid lane, there's another set of action.
There's a flash fear from Nutri. He's going to get knocked up, and the fear does not go down. Master and Sheepy may get forced down here from Nutri. Nutri picks up the kill, resetting his double buffs. That's a good pickup for Nutri.
Good pickup for Nutri indeed, and there's not a lot that Zodiaz can do this early on. Really doesn't have the mana to lay down too much damage after a wall, and he just can't help Sheepy in that situation. There's just nothing that a Karthus can assist with.
Yeah, now Digger is just going to back away. Karthus not farming too badly, currently sitting about equal to Digger in that mid lane. And all Karthus will be doing in part of this early game is farming his way up towards his core items, which does differ from Karthus to Karthus, but most do go for that early tier or Rod of Ages, one of each. Or one
yeah.
of
I was going to say that was actually a point I was just about to bring up, was I'm interested to see where Zodiaz is going to go on this Karthus, because some Karthus we see, as you said, pick up Rod of Ages, some we actually see both, and it just depends on how greedy you want to be as Karthus.
If you pick up both, you do delay your damage into the late game, but it will make you more powerful into that late game.
And that's the greedy aspect of it, is I will sacrifice part of my early game to make our late game so much stronger, and we're actually seeing neither of those two options being picked up here.
Wow, he's going for the Athenes. I have never seen that on a Karthus.
I don't want to say never, because I know in some bronze game I've probably seen it once in a while.
No,
but
well, I'm sure he knows what he's doing, but I don't know where I mean, apart from his ultimate, the cooldown reduction doesn't benefit him in any other way. So, and with the ultimate being such a long cooldown, maybe the cooldown reduction there is going to be good. I do like the rotation, actually, from Rain. They're looking to take a really early dragon, with the bot lane still being stuck up there. Irelia does have her teleport. Oh, actually, no, it isn't down to get up to that top lane turret. And this is going to be Nutri doing exactly what he does best. Having finished that Mad Res, they're going to go straight onto Dragon and pick it up early into the game.
Yeah, really nice rotation out here. They moved their duo bottom lane down. That's the effect that's going to have. Let's take a look at this top tower health. It will get pushed down, so it's going to get answered this early into the game. But to be honest, it's just one of those early rotations out that either team are going to be happy with here. It depends on whether Unicorns can continue this push or whether it'll be answered.
Doing a really late 4-man push into this top lane. Usually we'd see this a lot earlier into the game, but no one is there to deal with it. And it looks like Blackjack is backing off, but I don't think he's going to make it in time. I think this tower is going to go down to Unicorns of Love. Nutri doing his best to sort of farm the minions out, uses the shield just in case he's going to get engaged on, and that's a free turret again. Just the rotation being out-rotated by Unicorns of Love there.
Yeah, this time Unicorns of Love just being completely convicted, and that's what we've seen from Unicorns of Love, is when they're placed in these unorthodox situations, they make a decision and they go for it, and it pays off more times than not, because if you're just pulling the trigger early, it's much better than delaying. And
Digger
mid
needs to
lane,
be careful here. There's a 5-man invade onto him. He's going to be caught up in a death sentence. Oh, it was a good shot, actually, anticipating the move from Digger, but just missing by the fraction of a teeth.
yeah, couldn't quite land that death sentence, but Hylasang is going to set up for another one, I believe. He's just waiting on that cooldown, but he is on a ward, so it's not going to land from him. But meanwhile, Slight has been down in this bottom lane, will even up that, well, get a turret here for Rain. That is their first one of the game. They did pick up a dragon for themselves as well, and pretty much just all the lanes are fairly even now when it comes to the CS of only that top lane.
Has just hit level 6, and that bot lane doesn't have a turret available. If he chooses to rotate down there, could get a good paranoia off, but Xin Zhao is in the vicinity, but has no mana.
Yeah, no mana, so can't really do too much here. There's a Tribush, a ward right by the Tribush as well to catch Master Shibi on any kind of rotate here, but Nutri is hovering in the backside of that lane, so looking for that paranoia level 1.
No flashes available on the side of Hylasang and Vargas. They're going to be very careful. If this comes in and a flash stun from Blackjack, going to be very difficult, but I think they know something's up, so they are just backing off.
Yeah, they know that level 1 Paranoia doesn't have that big a range, so it's not like Nutri can come all the way from the jungle. He has to actually push pretty deep up into the lane here, so it's just buying them time here as Nutri is expending a fair amount of time waiting for this Paranoia. We saw that earlier on today in the games that we casted with Nutri as Nocturne.
Yeah, he is looking to move back towards his jungle. The golems are going to respawn, wants to get a couple more stacks on his feral flip, but actually going to move up towards the wraith, so not too much. In the mid lane, it's been very quiet right now. Both mid laners sort of building the same way, and the CS are fairly even across the board. I think Master Shipi is about to hit 6 off this red buff. Yes, he is.
Yeah, just having a look at that Relic Shield Targon's Race actually puts the bottom lane of Unicorns of Love about 200 gold ahead, because they got 200 gold from that Targon's. The actual gold on the AD carries is pretty much identical at this point in the game, and Rain are going to back away. They didn't quite get the position they wanted with Nutri to actually find their way into the bottom side of this map, and this is a very slow-paced game, and that's going to play in favor of Unicorns of Love. You have to feel that the later this game goes, without Rain building a significant advantage, the far better Karthus and Jax would be.
Yeah, and there is no gold generation on the item for Blackjack, so he's not going to be getting much gold except for the global gold that he's going to be given across team taking dragons, as well as that. He does look like he's going up to this top lane by himself. Has to be careful that he's not going to get soloed out by the Jax, but he has picked up that mobility boot, so he's probably just getting some deep wards. Yeah,
rushing for those mobility boots really does delay any kind of map control or utility item, as you were alluding to. That a lot of supports will say that a Sightstone essentially is a gold per 5 item, but he's not there yet. He's only got the Ruby Crystal after rushing those level 2 boots, and
they're coming down to try and dive Warrior, but Nutri is in the vicinity to deal it if they do opt to go for that. They're going to try and force their way onto this turret. The Karthus Requiem is available in case they do decide to dive, but look, Orianna is making her way down, so this is going to be a quick back off from the bot lane on the side of Unicorns of Love.
Yeah, not a lot actually happening down in that bottom lane indeed. Nutri hasn't yet done, it pulled the trigger on using the Paranoia.
They're going to return, they're going to head we need to be careful because Warrior is very good on Aurelia. He does get a lot of early game damage up, nearly hitting the power spike of that level 9 and the level 5 heightened style, so has to be very careful.
It's essentially 4v2.
Oh, here he goes. He comes in, forces the flash out of Master Shippy, but the fear does go down. The Blade Surge forces Nutri away as well with the Crescent Strike, and that's going to be Nutri picking up yet another kill. 2-0-0 right now, and he's almost getting towards that Feral Flare too. Looks like Annie goes down to Karthus in the mid lane. That's going to be a free kill. I'm not sure what quite happened there, Stress. Did you manage to catch it?
It just looked like Jax roamed down and they managed to stun Annie in the middle of the lane. Zodiaz had Defile running. Didn't need to use the exhaust. I believe Annie didn't use hers either. So it's one of these cases that she was just out of position a little bit in that middle lane. They capitalized on it. But I'm a little surprised that bottom lane fight went as easily as it did to Rain. They had 3 members of Unicorns of Love already down there. Hylasai had ultimate and everything available, just decided not to peel for Master of Sheepy, and they still had the Karthus Requiem.
In a wrong position right now, uses the box, and Nutri runs straight into it, doesn't use his shield to barrier up any of those box walls. A good disengage. Blackjack is really far behind on levels right now. He needs to be incredibly careful that he doesn't get out-leveled by Hylasai by a little bit, because he needs to get that ultimate before he can start making big engages.
Yeah, he does need that ultimate indeed, but I'm just a little bit surprised that Unicorns let that go away. I'm harping on a little bit about it, but I mean, that really should have gone in their favor. However, something that is going in Unicorn's favor is look at the top lane farm and itemization already. Jax has a Bilgewater Cutlass and the Phage, 84 farm to 50, and has a fair amount of global gold as well when you consider those 2 towers. So top lane is heavily in favor of Jax right now.
Slight out of position for the Dragon yet again. He should have been well in position for that, considering that they knew the timer. And everyone from Unicorns of Love are heading down to this. Probably going to be a free Dragon going over to Unicorns of Love. Doesn't look like anyone bar Orianna and Blackjack are reacting, and Nutri's a little bit too far away without the paranoia. Digger in a really odd position, walks through the wall of pain. He's going to go down with the exhaust is there. Great shockwave to hit 3 members. Nutri goes in, gets the kill onto Master of Sheepy. Zodiac has got no mana, so Defile's going to come down. Blackjack's there. He's going to get taken down. Looks like Warrior is coming in. He's got the Blade Surge available if he wants it. Vardax is going to get taken down by Digger. Zodiac is very low. He's got no mana. Who's going to finish him off here?
Nobody, because it gives him the mana. If he uses it to get Requiem out, it shouldn't be enough to pick up a kill. He was running around that fight saying, kill me, and nobody wanted to finish him in that last little bit. So Zodiaz ends up getting nothing
I bet
from
Nutri was screaming, I haven't got my shield yet, don't kill him until I've got my shield. But anyway, it doesn't look like that Requiem was used and no one went down from it. So overall a good fight for Rain Gaming, and they go into the lead by about 1k.
Yeah, Rain will take the lead from that. Really, that fight, again, is just they got an amazing shockwave from Digger, caught 3, a lot of damage went down, no mana on Karthus from Zodiaz. Although the Chalice of Harmony is pretty good for regenerating missing mana, Karthus normally gets tier because you get more maximum mana, and therefore in a fight have the longer duration on Defile, because essentially you're not constantly using what you're regenerating fairly slowly off the Chalice of Harmony. You're just chunking through a larger mana pool.
Irelia does have the teleport available, I believe, so if they're going to go for a dragon fight right now, she can be in the position to do so. Looks like they are going to clear out the wards, and Nutri does have Paranoia available now, so there's some big cooldowns in favor, and Shockwave is coming off cooldown in 2 seconds.
Yeah, Shockwave will be available.
Oh,
Hook
Digger
does
gets
land.
caught yet again. Here comes a great shockwave across 4 people. The teleport's coming in from Irelia. Nutri takes down Jax, and Zodiac is there going hard, and he gets a kill onto Annie right there. 2 kills come down from Master of Sheepy, but Warrior is doing exactly what he does every game, managing to pick up the stragglers. Hylasang is the only one alive, and Slight in the back line. He's going to try and get the kill. Ace in the hole comes out, going to finish off, and that's an ace. And a 4 for 5, and that goes, and a triple kill onto Slight. He is very good with this Caitlyn.
Slight is the only remaining member here on the board, as Visage actually has just respawned. Low respawn time is at this 14 minutes mark, and again, nobody has taken the dragon from that. Another brilliant shockwave. The change there was Zodiaz had a lot of mana available, but didn't have Requiem. It's such a long cooldown on that level 1 Requiem, and even the level 2 Requiem has a considerable cooldown that you can't go fight to fight like that with Karthus. You have to wait out for your cooldowns to be available. available. So even though he was landing a lot of damage in the fight, he didn't have that killing potential that Unicorns of Love desperately needed at that point.
He kind of focused Annie as well, so I feel like it was a bit of a misattribution of his resources. Didn't use them to focus down Slight, and instead went for Annie, also using his exhaust on Annie. So interesting decision making from Zodiaz out there. Rain again rotating around for this dragon. This is such a big objective for all of the teams right now, fighting with their life. The pink ward comes down. They are going to clear vision on the side of Unicorns of Love, and this is going to be a quick dragon, hopefully going over to Nutri. Shockwave is again available for the type.
It depends whether Unicorns want to force it.
Culling comes down, and Digger yet again gets hooked onto. Not going to get the Shockwave off because he goes down just before, but look at Warrior in the back line. He's going to take down Karthus, and Slight has the double buff. Here comes Requiem. Nutri is going to go down before he can get a kill with it, and that's going to be Unicorns of Love essentially taking the fight, but with the dragon.
Unicorns of Love really coming up in that team fight. Of course, the dragon, I believe, went over to Rain at the beginning of that fight, and now Unicorns are going to rotate out. Ace in the hole gets used. Vardags was low, but it wouldn't have been enough to take him out anyway, and they're going to chunk down this tower. May even look for a second one, but their minion wave is rather small here, so they're not going to get all that much done here if the rest of Rain do answer back, as Hylasang's the one tanking up the turret.
Yeah, they need to be really careful they don't get engaged by the mobility boots Annie, but she is just going to come clear this wave out. And again, I would say very even across the board. In fact, we have a completely even gold, global gold values between the two teams. Looks like they are trying to take away the blue buff, so that's the blue buff going over to Master of Sheepy, as Warrior was there to try and push him out. I'm close right now.
I'm not too keen on this later Rod of Ages from Karthus, because essentially he's lost levels at which and time at which that would have stacked. And essentially, that's what you want from a Karthus, is in the late game, you've got so much health that you stay alive for so long, and then you die and you get it all for free, and you can't take any more damage, and then you Requiem and everybody dies. But
well, I believe it's 10 minutes for the Rod of Ages to stack fully, so if he gets it before 20 minutes, he may be okay going towards those mid to late game team fights around the 30-minute mark. However, he hasn't got the tier, so it does mean that he's going to lack the mana pool. He has got the Athenes for the cooldown reduction on his ultimate, though, which is available in around 40 seconds.
Yeah, that is still a big window, though, that Rain have to maybe take a fight here, as they do have, I believe, all of their ultimates, just the Tibbers that they're waiting on here, and that is going to be available in about 10 seconds' time. So Rain are going to be at full team fight potential very shortly, and might be able to catch out Unicorns of Love in a window where they really don't have the ability to fight. Visage actually does have teleport available, and Warriors is still not available, so it means that Rain really are going to have to stack as 5 for a little bit longer if they do want that fight.
Yeah, and they are going to force their way down the middle, and I'm not sure Rain really want to fight under turret right here, and the wave clear from Karthus is incredible. Looks like Slight is trying to get a bit of damage down onto the outer turret there. Nothing else happened. Nutri gets hooked in. He's not going to get flayed away. Master Oshipi goes straight onto Digger, the target of most of these team fights. The heal comes out. Here's the Nocturne using the Paranoia. Goes straight onto a great shockwave hitting Master of Sheepy and Hylasang, but here comes the Requiem. Karthus has already gone down. This fight has gone completely in favor of Unicorns of Love. Sweeps up for a 4-for-1, and this is a massive lead for Unicorns.
Massive fight for Unicorns, allows them now to rotate out. I'm wondering where they're going. It looks like they... are they really? Are they heading for Baron? They are heading for Baron. The Dark Passage did get him all the way over the wall. But no, they're going for Baron. They've got a Jax who has good damage after he's got Blade of the Rune King.
Pretty quickly.
It is dying very quickly, and they don't really have the itemization that would allow this to do this at full speed. But
everyone's taking a lot of damage right now. Annie's coming in. She has got a bit of damage available. She's probably going to jump in, try and get Master of Sheepy down. He's not going to go down as she gets pulled in. The red team does take the Baron, but they're in a position where they're going to be slightly under threat of Orianna. Flash comes out. I think Master of Sheepy is going to go down to Digger. This is Versace. He's going to jump over. The Dark Passage was available for him too. Could have got a lot better for Rain, but unfortunately Blackjack got hooked in.
I just don't know why they didn't just go aggressive with Digger there. There were so many low members, and Jax had no mana, so he can't use empowered abilities, and you can just kind of kite him around for a while as Orianna. But that's a Baron going over, a very early Baron going over to Unicorns of Love as well, and that makes them exponentially more difficult to deal with at this point. It's only a 2,000 gold lead, but then taking that effective gold lead that Baron will give them. However, Rain are trying to answer back with a top lane tower of their own, but it's such a difficult spot spot for them to be in because so many of their kills, 5 kills from Reina stacked onto Nutri right now, and it just means that when he goes into that fight, unless he gets so much done that Unicorns of Love really can't answer that shockwave after the paranoia, then a lot of that gold is just lost.
A lot of the action right now has forced Nutri to delay his Feral Flare. He's at 20 minutes, he's still at 19 stacks, so usually we'd see that coming out a lot earlier from him, but all of this action across the map has been just stopping him from farming his jungle.
Yeah, he's really been denied that ability to farm the Feral Flare, and hasn't even been completed for Master Ishibi. Let's take a look. Master Ishibi's at 13, Nutri, as he said, at 19. So neither jungler really farming that up, but Nutri's hooked.
Nutri's going to get engaged on, but he has got the shield from Orianna right now. Shockwave is just available, so if they choose to fight, it will be there if they have it in the team fight, but so is Requiem. Now that it's up to that second tier, it will be on a very short cooldown compared to what it should be, so that'll be available almost every fight for Unicorns of Love right now.
I feel like I've said Nutri's hooked quite a lot this weekend. That's all I'm going to say.
He does get hit by a lot of hooks.
He is leading the charge, though.
Yeah,
so
I suppose. Digger, I think this game has been hooked a little bit more. He's always the focus, and as I say it, he gets hooked and goes down immediately. There's Karthus in the backline. Warrior isn't going to be able to get in there. Slight Rain and Black, all the Rain in the team instead of Slight Blackjack and Warrior. Warrior gets hooked again, and the box comes out. He's going to take down Jax under the turret, but no one else is going to go down. The 50 caliber net from Slight does get him away, but there is Karthus chasing him down. Slight trying to juke him out, but I don't think this is a fight that he's going to win. The inhibitor turret will go down, and that'll be a 21-minute inhibitor.
It will be with a Baron as well, means the regen on Unicorns of Love give them the confidence to take down this inhibitor as well as that tower, and that's a tricky spot to be in for Rain. They are really up against it here. Shields go out, wasn't necessary for Zodiaz there, but you know, they're going to clear out this jungle on their way out and look to rotate. Dragon is getting pinged, everywhere is getting pinged by the Unicorns of Love. They are in full control of this game.
Yeah, Nutri knows that Dragon's up right now. He has got his Paranoia available, so they need to be careful because the Unicorns of Love are very low, and Requiem is still available, so it wasn't used in that last team fight. Nutri tried to go over, gets the smite steal, but now he's lost. He can't get over, he's got no one else that can help him out. He's going to try solo out the team, but I believe he's just going to go down to Zodiaz. But however, I would take the Dragon for a kill at this point in the game.
Yeah, I think they'll be happy on that. That keeps that Goldie closer than it was.
There's nothing that Unicorns of Love could do to capitalize on the kill. So.
No, there's absolutely nothing, as you said. They really just wanted to head home, heal up, and rebuy anything that they possibly can here. Let's take a quick look at the gold. Karthus still has just over 2,000, so yet to back. The way this is going, I'm going to guess it's going to be a Void Staff, just to round out Karthus, because he's not building that tier. So yeah, it's a Void Staff. There we go. Okay, good timing. Nailed it. It's almost like having just over 2,100 gold and you're an AP carry in the mid lane. Nice you're likely to buy a third item Void Staff.
It's always nice as a color caster when you predict something.
That one was super easy. that one I'm not even going to take credit for, because if you bought anything else, I'd have been incredibly confused.
Yeah, well, anyway, does look like that bot lane turret is now the focus for Unicorns of Love. The only outer turret still remaining, and while Rain Gaming are having to deal with the super minions, Unicorns of Love can just rotate round and take this global objective. Master of Sheepy actually doing most of the tanking here. He's going to back out, stop taking the damage from the tower, and this is going to be another easy turret going over for Unicorns.
It is, and with the mid wave not quite there, they're going to have to put a little bit of a pause on this. Caitlyn is in the top lane, however, so they know they've got the numbers advantage, but Rain are here to defend. They dodge the hook, but that mid lane will start pushing in very shortly, and that'll be the point that Unicorns of Love want to push, because look at the wave clear they've got with a Karthus and a Lucian. They're able to just go to any lane that they want and just clear that out instantly.
And Karthus still has Requiem available, hasn't had to use it in the last few team fights, so when it comes up to another team fight, he will have that available, and we're going to check how much damage that's going to do across the board. With pre-magic resist, he'll be doing 556 damage to each champion.
I feel like this Annie just isn't working out.
No.
0 and 6, Annie's laning phase got punished so hard, and you can just see why in this game. She's just not able to duel against a lot of the duo lanes that are available in the current meta, and just really...
I still feel Morgana just would have been the better pick here.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree with you on this one.
anyway. Looks like the Baron is going to be coming up in 1 minute 30 seconds, so that'll be the next focus, I believe, for Unicorns of Love. They're currently sitting at about a 4k gold advantage, which actually isn't as much as I would have thought at this point in the game, considering how far ahead they actually seem.
The thing about having that kind of advantage is that's a good advantage to have if you're on a late game focused team against a team that are going to be better in the mid game with that kind of wombo combo that Rain have. But really just Unicorns of Love are in such a good position to scale themselves better in this game that they don't have to make any rash decisions. They don't have to push anything. They know that there's going to be a drop-off for Rain's team composition coming to them in the next 10 or so minutes. About 35 minutes, there's going to be very little that Rain can actually do unless there's a mistake from Unicorns.
And Unicorns just have every sort of advantage on that support right now. They've got the Mikhails to stun away from the Annie. They've almost finished the face of the mountain. So really right now, Blackjack just not having a great game, and he's not really providing much. He has got no AP. He's under-leveled as well, so really going to have to be very careful about what happens in this next team fight.
Yeah, very difficult for him. But the inhibitor has come up, and that is one saving grace here for Rain. They've waited that out. They've got some good farm onto Caitlyn as well, up to 207. 40 CS up on Lucian. Even though you look at the support being 0-6, Caitlyn's done a great job of keeping
hook
themselves
onto
up.
Blackjack. He gets caught out, gets immediately melted. The box comes out to try and zone them away. Hylasang takes a little bit of damage, but they're going to rotate to run straight for this dragon. That ward placed by Zinzao earlier was a great ward. Oh, looks like Hylasang tries to get onto Slight. Slight is going to take a lot of damage here. The Flay comes down. There's the Karthus. A great shockwave, but it's going to have no effect as Nutri's caught in the wrong position. Warrior comes in, but I'm not sure how much he can do. He has been exhausted. He's going to have to flash over the wall. There's the Randuin's coming out as well, and that's just Warrior running away. They're going to go straight down onto the double kill and kill off that Orianna, and they may even push down straight for this inhibitor.
Yeah, the timing of that initial kill couldn't have been worse because it would have set up a Baron for Unicorns of Love. So Rain were forced to try and do something and ended up kind of getting caught out again, and now they lose the inhibitor. Likely the Unicorns of Love are going to rotate out. They're a little bit low, but have done Baron on less health earlier on in this game that we really weren't expecting, so they could go for it. It's a little bit risky with Nutri coming back up fairly soon, so they are going to head back to the base. But this is a good spot to be in again for Unicorns of Love. I'm saying that quite a lot, but they are so far ahead with this late game focus.
It does look like they're going to rush the Baron. This is going to be very dangerous for Rain if they do decide to go for that. In fact, no, they're just going to get the pink ward down. Nutri still hasn't managed to finish his Feral Flare. All the action that's been happening across the map has starved him from those jungle camps. He's at 21 stacks after just finishing that white, and Blackjack is now just going to be forced away from the Baron.
Oh, Hylasang, that was really nice. Threw down the lantern behind him just to make sure Blackjack didn't try and fight him there, because there's no way Blackjack wants to fight 2v1.
It's the mind games.
Yeah,
it's the mind games. I may have someone on the end of this lantern, you just don't know.
Oh, that was nice to see. Very similar to how Unicorns of Love used that double ward the other day of the pink wards, but Rain might get
Digger
caught
gets
here.
caught out yet again, but no one is going to jump onto him yet. And look how Rain, they took a couple of damage across the board, and no one on the side of Unicorns of Love had the damage reciprocated for them. They're just going to back away. Jax has the teleport available. They're going to try and clear out the pink wards here. Rain are really concerned about trying to stop this Baron happening, because this could be the deciding factor if it goes down to Unicorns of Love.
Unicorns are just trying to buy time for the super minion wave in the middle lane to push as far as it can get before anybody from Rain actually answers it, and that leaves them at a big disadvantage here around Baron.
This is going to be a big fight. They are starting the Baron off. Master Ashifi going straight onto it. Feral Flare need not completed for either jungler yet, but not that it matters, as Baron is getting down pretty low. Oh, the hook onto Slight. He's going to go down. The Orianna on hitting two members right there, but everyone on the side of Rain is just melting in the middle of that defile. Warrior does come in with the teleport, but there we go. Nocturne just jumping onto Vivisachi, but he does pop the ultimate. He's going to go straight onto Digger, but there's the Requiem. Actually going in favor of Rain, but the Requiem evening up the board, and Vivisachi just doing so much damage right now. Going to get a complete ace. Karthus picking up 2 kills, and look at the super minions. If they're quick enough, they could end this game.
30 seconds left on the death timers. Only Annie will be up in 20, and the Nexus Towers are actually just dying to the super minions. They might not even get to the base before this game is over. Unicorns of Love has stopped ever so slightly by a minion wave spawning, but that is going to be it. Rain will surrender their last game.
Love. GG, they came back from a 1-game disadvantage, coming to take the series 3-2. Props to Rain. They really put a good job up against the Unicorns of Love, who were also powerful. And wow, that was just so intense in that last game.
What a close series in general, all the way to game 5, and then Rain just not quite able to overcome the later game composition. They took an early lead, actually, did Unicorns of Love, with what should have been a late game composition, and from there, Rain just really couldn't build the foundations of a comeback. And that is our grand finals over and done with. Unicorns of Love, the European imports here for our tournament, have come over to I-51, and they will take first place.
Yeah, but props to Rain. They're going to take second place with FM eSports getting that consolation of the third place. So well played, Accrual. This has been the Razer League of Legends Challenge Cup. I've been Scoundrel, and we're going to go over, I think, to